Hello friends, it is the final week of Vlogmas. We have 6 days until Christmas, 6 days to bring you along and finish out this Vlogmas season. Now I will say, I am about to start on a new role for Timmy's TBR-a-thon. You would have seen that role just before this clip. I would have had a little section of B-roll with that role. I did it late last night and I'm gonna start the book today. Well, basically, I've already read the first 20 pages. For that role and for Timmy's TBR-a-thon, if you don't know, it's a holiday version of my TBR game that I'm playing with my patrons this week. I got the role of Trees on the cover, and finally, my buddy read with Kelsey finally works for a prompt for Holiday Timmies, and that is Quicksilver. I'm finally reading Quicksilver. I'm very nervous about it, but I am 22 pages in, and so far, so good. I mean, it's only 22 pages. I don't have a ton of thoughts. But I do need to catch up to Kelsey because I am a couple days behind on this buddy read. Kelsey's also behind, but is further ahead than I. So today I'm going to start off Quicksilver, and I think that's going to be mostly what I read this week. I may dip into a couple of other reads. The only other book I'm currently reading is The Warm Hands of Ghosts, which I think has now become the joke of Vlogmas. I have been reading that since Vlogmas week 1, and I just keep putting it off. So I would like to finish that before Christmas, just to kind of like finish out all the books I'm currently reading. And we may do another role for Holiday Timmies at some point, but I may not reach the end of the board. The readathon ends in a couple of days, so we'll see. This one is so chunky that there is a possibility that I don't reach the end of the board. And for the fact that we're doing Vlogmas and so many other things, I'm not going to hold myself to the standard of having to finish the board. I mostly just want to have fun with it. I have sprints today. It is Thursday, so I have 8 hours of sprints, 2 hours of bones. So I should be able to get a lot of reading done today, watch bones, and that's about it. I don't think we'll get to any like really holiday activities today. You never know, something may change, but I don't foresee that. It's going to be mostly a work and reading day. But I'll bring you along with that as well. And then tomorrow we'll probably jump back into some holiday activities because I do know we have a few fun things planned for tomorrow, as long as the snow holds off, because we are supposed to get like 20 centimeters of snow overnight. So it will kind of depend on the snow tomorrow, but I do have some plans tomorrow. But I haven't done any of my advents today, and sprints start in an hour. I've had a very slow start to the morning because I was watching the season finale of Survivor. I love Survivor, and I was really pulling for somebody to win, and they did. I'm not going to say who, just in case you haven't seen it, but I'm very happy with who won. But let's get our coffee advent going. Let's do all the things, and let's open our first book of this vlog. Again, if you haven't seen the other Vlogmas episodes, you may not know that I have been doing a holiday advent calendar. I wrapped these books way back months and months ago. Forgot what's in here, and every day I'm surprised by myself with a holiday book. And you know what? It's been so fun. I'm definitely doing it again next year. So let's see what book I have today. Alice Oseman. There are actually 2 Alice Oseman books in this, and we are going to open them both this week because I haven't opened them yet. The only reason I remember for sure that there are 2 is because I accidentally bought the same book twice, and when I was wrapping them, I noticed. So there are 2 different Alice Osemans. The other one I already put in a little free library when I realized I had bought the same book twice. So they are 2 different books that we will be unwrapping, but I did buy a third at one point. I have only ever read the Heartstopper books and the novellas based off the Heartstopper books by Alice Oseman. I haven't read the rest of the full-length novels. So I've read all the graphic novels that are currently out this winter and Nick and Charlie. I would really love to read a full-size book by Alice Oseman, so I'm really excited to add this to my collection. But I need the coffee, so let's go make the coffee and kind of get more started on our actual day. halfway through our reading sprints for the day, and I have read 150 pages of Quicksilver. Kelsey's in the comments and is currently on page 70, so I'm going to put a pause on this book in order for Kelsey to catch up since we're doing this as a buddy read. But I figured 150 pages was a good point to come and chat with you about this book. I feel like a lot of people are loving this book right now, and I feel like a lot of people, because I'm doing it for every romantasy, are really interested in my thoughts on this. And I don't have a ton yet, except that I'm having a good time. I feel like at 150 pages, I'm really just still figuring out what exactly is going on in this world. It's a big, complex world with a lot happening. In it, we follow Saris, and Saris is living in something called the Third Ward. There's multiple factions, and they're kind of sectioned off. The queen, who seems to be quite evil, I forget her name, she has sectioned them off, and the Third Ward is basically like the plague ward. And she is basically trying to kill off this group of people. They get unclean water. They basically have to drink everybody else's wastewater. It's very unsanitary. It's a horrible living condition. She has snuck into one of the other wards in order to steal fresh water, steal fresh food for her and her brother and her friends. She sees a guard drop their gauntlet, and she actually steals this gauntlet, and this brings the whole army down on the Third Ward and on her. In the process of her being captured and them torturing her basically because of this, she unlocks the Quicksilver. The Quicksilver is liquid metal, and it has been locked down. The queen has locked it down. It doesn't move. It isn't liquid anymore. These were actually portals to fairy realms and to other realms, and she has blocked it off because she does not want the Fae to come into her land. The Fae is not something the queen wants to deal with. She wants to be in charge of her own land. She doesn't want the war that the Fae would bring. So she locked down the Quicksilver, and somehow Saris makes it liquid again. She is almost to dead. She is almost dead when this happens, and Kingfisher walks through, scoops her up, and brings her to the Fae Kingdom. And that's where we are now. And we are trying to figure out how she unlocked the Quicksilver and how the Fae is going to use her for their own gain. I don't really trust the Fae King, and I think Quicksilver is our love interest, so we can probably trust him, maybe. I guess we'll find out as we go through the book. We also have a couple side characters. We have Elena, who is Kingfisher's sister, and also the princess of this land, and it's really interesting to see her friendship with Saris kind of coming together. And I can't wait to see where we go from here. I feel like the world is quite integral and the magic system is really interesting with this Quicksilver. So I'm interested to see where we go from here as I go through the book. I have quite a bit of Vlogmas week 3 to edit, but I did want to know what book I'll be working on in conjunction with Quicksilver since this is a buddy read, so I did do another roll. I ended up getting red and green on the cover, and luckily my other currently reading book has both these colors on it. I have less than 100 pages in The Warm Hands of Ghosts, so I'm going to be bouncing to this in between my buddy read pages with Kelsey until I get this finished. However, I'm going to work on editing probably for the rest of these sprints. Unless I fully catch up, then I will also listen to this as well. So we'll bounce between those two for the rest of the day, and I will be having Bones tonight, and then I'll see you in the morning probably. That's probably the next time I'll talk to the camera is in the morning. After Bones, I'm probably just going to relax. Actually 2 days later, and we are 3 days until Christmas. It is the 21st of December. Yesterday, we ended up having a little bit of a family emergency. Everything is fine. You do not need to worry. Everything is totally fine. It's totally cleared up, but I was very busy dealing with that. And it just didn't feel authentic to pick up a camera. There was really no time where I could vlog, and it just made sense to just skip it and tackle it today. So we need to open 2 Advent books. And because I was dealing with all that yesterday, I really haven't read anything since I last spoke to you either. So I don't really have a vlog update either. So let's open our 2 books, one for yesterday and one for today. I, again, have long lost track of what's in here. So let's see. Oh, this might be the other Alice Salzman book. It is. Radio silence. That's interesting that we opened them back to back. Like, that's kind of funny. Okay, let's see what we got for today. Ooh, Death Note Volume 1. And this is the sprayed edges version. I found this at Value Village and I could not leave the black sprayed edges Death Note. This is a manga, so we may be able to pick this up very, very soon. We'll see. We'll see what the rest of the holiday rolls have in store for us. But I know I'm coming up on a mood read at the end of the board, and this might be a good shout because we are running out of days. Technically, the readathon ends today at the end of the day. I may push it into a couple extra days just to finish the board, but I might be able to finish it today except for Quicksilver, which obviously is going to take me a fair few more days. We got 10 to 15 centimeters of snow last night, so it is definitely a snowy day outside. And I have Patreon sprints tonight to close out the readathon with Kelsey's coming on with me, and I think we're going to work on our buddy read on those sprints. So let's dive into the day, see what this Saturday brings, this snowy, snowy Saturday. And we'll get started on reading both The Warm Hands of Ghosts and Quicksilver. And I think we might even make some sugar cookies. I have those sugar cookies that I bought earlier last week that are just sitting in the fridge kind of waiting to be made. And I feel like a snowy Saturday is the perfect day to do that. We also have to open 2 days of Advents. We need to open 2 coffees, 2 sugar cookies, 2 of everything, 2 puzzles we need to catch up. So let's go do that.
Alone it's Christmas, but I won't wait till next year to try and feel the distance we've had with decorations in my bag. It's taking it slow, won't work in time. It's only so long for Christmas lights. It can't be a song you sing sometimes. I need you to sing it for your whole life. So let me be your family this Christmas, and let this be the season that you've been waiting for. Let me be your family this Christmas. Give to you myself this year, I promise I'm yours. This year you've left me wondering just how you're feeling, and I want you to know my doubts about his relax. Me walking barefoot in the San Diego snow. I wanna make you, I wanna make you, I wanna make you feel something familiar. I celebrate you. God did his thing with you. Don't be a stranger, be my date. Without you, this ain't a holiday. So let me be your family this Christmas. Be your family. Let this be the season that you've been waiting for. Let me be your family this Christmas. Give to you myself this year, I promise I'm yours.
Friends, I did it. Last night, I did it. I finally finished The Warm Hands of Ghosts. I don't know exactly what day of Vlogmas I started this, but we are coming up on like 20 days at this point. I have been reading this book for so many days. The book is only 300 pages. It should not have taken me anywhere near this long to read this book. Nowhere near. And it wasn't because I didn't enjoy it, because I did enjoy the book, although I will say I think dipping in and out of it as much as I did and pushing it off as much as I did did hinder my enjoyment of the book a little bit. I tried to remove that from my rating though and really think of it more critically, just because that's not the book's fault. That was the fault of many buddy reads popping up, readathons popping up that I needed to finish, Libby loans about to expire. Like, it wasn't the book's fault. It really wasn't. That was me. It was my fault. I did it. The things I liked about this book were the fact that some of it is set where I live. So I could really picture some of the settings of this book. The part that's set around the Halifax explosion, that is set in Halifax, and therefore very close to where I live, because I live just outside of Halifax. And I grew up learning about the Halifax explosion, so it's in here. All the information, it's up here. I was drilled it in at school. I know all about it. And how it tied into World War I with Laura. Laura is a nurse. She was injured. She's sent home. She's here for the Halifax explosion. She loses her family. She ends up staying with these elderly ladies who do seances and speak to those who have crossed over. And she doesn't really believe that they do, but they do tell her that her brother is missing, not dead. He's a soldier in the war. So Laura goes back over to serve as a nurse, but also to find her brother. And we see these ghosts that are around them and how the ghosts symbolize different things in the book, which I won't go over because I do think it happens too late and is a bit of a spoiler, but how the ghosts represent different things in the war and how Laura and these soldiers are carrying their ghosts with them. It was a really beautiful way of sharing that story. I am not a huge historical reader. I was a couple of years back, but I've really gravitated away from historical reading. So I would not say this is necessarily something that I would typically pick up, but overall I liked it. If you want to know more of my early thoughts of the book when I first picked it up, it is in Vlogmas week 1. You can see kind of my more in-depth thoughts there because obviously I read the first 200 pages then. This was me really picking it up mid-story and just finishing it out. And again, I do think that hindered my enjoyment of the book just a tiny bit. But overall, I still really did like it and gave it 4 stars. Today, I don't even know what we're going to get up to today. I know we're going to go out to dinner. I just finished filming my Buzzword Reading Challenge TBR, so I just did that. And for reading, I'm going to read more of my buddy read with Kelsey of Quicksilver because I really do want to get more into Quicksilver and I'd like to finish it before this vlog ends, which is in 3 days. So I really do need to get a move on Quicksilver, and I don't think I'm going to start another book because I just want to dive into that and finish it in a timely fashion. But before I fully leave you to do that, let's open up my book advent for the day. I cannot believe we only have 3 more of these to open. 3. How is Vlogmas so close to over? I think I've already said that in this vlog, so I won't belabor the point, but like, I just cannot believe it. I need to look at what I'm doing. I'm looking at the camera instead of looking at what I'm doing, and I'm barely unwrapping this book. Oh! I completely forgot that I bought this book, which I've said before as well, but I did really forget this one. It's Cinderella is Dead. I read This Poison Heart by Kaylin Bayron a couple of years back now. I think it was like last year. Now, I haven't heard as much good things about this one as I have about the other ones, but I do think this is the debut for this author, so that makes sense. I'm still excited to dive in at some point, but that will definitely be next year. I doubt I will get to very many more of my Advent books before next year. However, I've decided to leave my TBR cart as is. Leave them on the TBR cart so that I prioritize getting through these books. Because I think if they get put on the shelves, I'm going to forget about them. And leaving them on that TBR cart will keep them in my mind and keep them fresh.
It's the end of the year. Everywhere on TV, couples and Christmas trees, gift wrapping and cheer. Just the worst time to be with someone special. In all the movies there, kissing in the snow, holding hands and mittens, baking together at home. I like the movies when I'm walking in the snow, cold hands and mittens, eating gingerbread home alone. I dream of December nights, kissing under bright lights, snowflakes in my hair, carols playing in the air. I dream of December nights, kissing under bright lights, red bow in my hair, sleigh bells in the air. The only thing I'm missing is you. Stockings on fireplace, but in my living room, a single one with my name, knit sweaters and lace. Dressed up alone on the couch,
400 pages into Quicksilver, and I'm having a really good time with this book, friends. I'm having a great time. Was I a little nervous at one point? Yes. Once we get these two in the fairy land that they're in, and they are starting to have this banter back and forth, I was a little nervous. The banter and the kind of hate to love vibes that we were trying to make felt a little forced to me. It felt a little forced at the beginning. Don't hate me for saying it, because I know this couple is well loved and they've grown on me. They've grown on me. I feel them now. I'm with them now. I want them to be together. But it did feel forced at the beginning. It felt like the banter was just a little bit too forced and the relationship just didn't feel authentic coming together. And I think one of the reasons the banter stood out so much as forced is there's another main character in this book from the human world that she has had a past relationship with, and they do kind of have this hate to not love, I guess, because he's not the love interest, but like this past ex banter. And that banter felt so authentic that the other one felt a little bit forced, if that makes sense. But again, it's worked itself out. So it was just for a short period of time around the 200 page mark. And now it's all worked out, and I really do like the couple, and I am really rooting for this romance, and I do like their banter now. What I think is the shining star of this book, though, which is what I want from a good romantasy, is the world and the intricacies of the magic and intricacies of this world. I am here for all of it. I am loving all of it. Every new tidbit that we get, I'm just eating it up. I'm just flipping and wanting more little bits of information. I want to know it all. I want to know everything that's going on, and I want to see all the things come together. How does the Quicksilver work? How can she make the Quicksilver work? What is going on? How is this all going to come together and help the Fae people, help her? How are they going to work together? I want to know all of it. I want to know all of it. And then we have cute side characters, which is possibly one of my favorite things in a fantasy book, is when you give me a cute side character, I'm going to be here for it every single time. In this one, we have Onyx, who is a little fox. Adorable. Absolutely adorable. And we also have Archer, who is a fire sprite. And I would like more Archer. I feel like Archer is definitely a side character in this book, like a very side character. And I want more Archer. And maybe I'll get more in subsequent books or more in the later half of this one. And if I don't, that's okay. It may come in another book, but I want more Archer. I'm putting it out there. Callie Hart, I want more of Archer, if you're listening. Earlier in Vlogmas, I read Voyage of the Damned, and there were two side characters in that book, and I kept saying I want more of Dumpling. I feel the same about this as I do about that. I wanted more of Dumpling in Voyage of the Damned. I want more of Archer in this, because a cute side character will always pull me into a book. But honestly, this book does have everything. I kind of see why everyone's loving it. I really do. Even though I do think the relationship didn't quite win me over right at the start, it's doing a good job of it now. It has a really great world and integral world building. It's doing a lot of things in the world building. It has a good underlying commentary going on. And also cute side characters, as well as a lot of good side characters that aren't the cute little ones that I like. But there's a good cast of side characters as well that I would like even more information on as we go through. I think we could really build out those storylines throughout the course of this series. I don't know how many books it's going to be, but you've got room. One thing I like about this is we're learning more about Ceres's life when she was in the third ward, which I mentioned earlier was like a plague ward, and their water situation and the scarcity of water. And I really got into climate fiction earlier last year, and I think it's really interesting to see the talk of this water scarcity in this book and what it is like for people who have food insecurity and water scarcity, what that is like, what that creates as a baseline of your life of fear and being unsettled when that is just your day-to-day life, is knowing, will I have water? Will I have food? And it's not a huge part of this book, but it does pop up here or there. And it's a really interesting look at food scarcity and water scarcity in a fantasy book. My goal is to finish this today, because tomorrow I am taking Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day off of doing BookTube. I will come here tomorrow morning and open my Advents, but that's all that will be the last day of Vlogmas. So today is really the last official day of Vlogmas. Again, you'll see me do Advents tomorrow, and I'm hoping to give you my final thoughts on Quicksilver. So I need to finish Quicksilver in order to get my final thoughts in this vlog, which means I need to read about 200 pages today. which is not possible. I have Patreon sprints tonight, so that will help me get through some of this. And honestly, we have a pretty low-key day here at home. I do have one more set of like cookies that I got when I got our gingerbread house. It's like a gingerbread family kit that we can decorate. So I plan on doing that today. And that's honestly about it. So I should be able to knock this out today unless there's distractions or things that I don't know pop up. I was just about to end this vlog clip when I realized I still haven't opened today's book advent, so we should probably do that before I run off. I cannot believe that we are opening the second to last book. And this is another Alice Osman book, which I thought we had opened all the Alice Osmans, but we haven't. We have Loveless. In my head, I only got 2, but I got 3, and I'm not mad about it because I really do want to explore this. I've said this the last few days, so you've heard this already, but I want to explore more in this Alice Osman world. And you can tell that I wanted that because I bought 3 of them. And honestly, this is my preferred cover of the 3 we've gotten so far. I love this style of cover. Anyway, there we go. Let's go finish Quicksilver.
Christmas tree lights twinkle bright.
Laughter fills the silent night.
It's the joy this season brings.
Fills your heart and makes you sing.
Build a frosty if there's snow.
Hide your out before you go.
Candy cane, sugar cookies.
One for you and one for me.
Jingle bells and children play. Rudolph leading Santa's sleigh. Mistletoe, here angels sleigh. Love's the gift on Christmas Day. Love's the gift on Christmas Day. That's right, love's the gift on Christmas Day. Deck the halls and hug a friend.
Memories that never end.
Gingerbread with icing swirl.
It's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve and it is the last day of Vlogmas. And to be honest, really, we're only doing Advents today and doing a quick update and then I'm heading off. I just want to spend today with my family and tomorrow with my family and just have a couple days of rest and relaxation. So I've already opened most of my Advents upstairs and I did have a little mishap with the book Advent today. The child saw a wrapped present on Christmas Eve sitting on the counter. I should not have left it where I left it. And it got unwrapped. So I do already know what I got, and it is Graveyard Shift by ML Rio. This book is a much anticipated release for me. I love If We Were Villains. This is horror though, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I will trust ML Rio till the day I die. So I will read this very excitedly. So let's just put it on the Advent cart and talk about Quicksilver because I did finish Quicksilver last night. And honestly, the fantasy elements in this book are top tier. This world building, this magic system, the different pieces and things coming together. It's just top tier. I feel like I talked about that yesterday, so I won't meander the point, but it just kept getting better and better and better. There were moments in this book where I was just having all the emotions. I loved the fantasy aspects of this book. And by the middle of this book, I really was interested in the romance. I really liked this couple. I love their romance. I love their story. So honestly, I was very torn on how to rate this book because the first bit of this book was not as good for me as the middle and end. The first part was great for the fantasy, the world building. That was great throughout. But I will say, again, I felt the relationship was forced at the beginning. It was a little bit forced, and I mentioned this all yesterday, so I won't go on and on about it, but it really did make it hard to rate because I think had that been stronger at the beginning, this was a 5-star read. And I was really trying to decide if I was okay to overlook that, but I don't think I can. I've really sat with it And I don't think I can overlook the fact that at the beginning, it was really forced and kind of felt almost a little bit cringy for a moment there. Again, it got so much better. It grew into itself and it was great as we went along, but there was some moments of cringe at the beginning, I know. So rating this was really, really difficult for me, and I've decided to go with a 4.5, but no, friends, know that this was so close to a 5-star read for me. And if it would have just had that little bit taken out or started the relationship a little bit differently, I would have given this 5 stars, 100%. The fantasy in this book is so good. And now that they're together, I honestly think I could give book 2 5 stars because the only part of it was them coming together at the beginning that felt cringy. Once they were together, I was sold. So I have very high hopes for book 2. It might be one of my most anticipated releases of next year, to be honest. It says on the back when we're getting it, fall 2025, and I will be waiting with bated breath with all of you because I know this book is highly anticipated for most people. And this book is really loved by most people. So like, I get it. I get the hype. I see how a lot of people could overlook that, or maybe it didn't feel forced to some of you. Like, I get the hype. I totally get it. Sometimes with really popular fantasy romances, I'm like, why so much hype? Like, I don't get it. But in this book, I get it. I see it, friends. I see it. And honestly, this is my second favorite book on Rainie's Every Romantasy TBR that she gave me. It did not take the place of When the Moon Hatched, but that's high praise. It's a close second to When the Moon Hatched. But with that, friends, Vlogmas is completely over. Thank you so much for spending the last 24 days with me, doing Vlogmas, participating in Christmas activities with me. It's been so fun making these vlogs. And I definitely plan on doing it again next year. Like, I had a lot of fun doing this video series. I'm going to take the next 3 days off and just spend it with my family. And then I'm going to be coming back with a brand new series of vlogs that you will see very, very soon. And I'm going to keep those a little bit of a secret. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, but have nothing to chat to me down in the comments about, leave me a butterfly emoji for Quicksilver. If you've read it, you'll know why the butterfly makes sense. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.